there, clan, and welcome to Ask the Warrior for the 21st of February 2015, where I answer the questions that you have submitted via all the usual methods. Whether they be silly, serious, or stupid in some cases. Now, of course, I've went through the questions to make sure, as if I do not, if you've submitted a question and I haven't answered it, the main reason is main reason will probably be either I intend to cover that particular topic that you're asking the question about in a full video in the future, or I feel I've already answered that question in a previous video, whether it be an Ask the Warrior or a previous topic video or other video. So, without further ado, we're going to dive into the questions with the first question from Patreon, which comes from the Paragate. And his question is, if you had to kill off at least one of your DAI, Dragon Age Inquisition, party members / advisors, who would you kill? Oh lord, that's a tricky question. I honestly don't feel as though I could kill off any of them, but if I had to, I'm trying to think of the character I like the least, or a character who I feel if you took them out of the game wouldn't really change much in the overall story or feel, but every character has so many. I'm trying to think. Can't kill off Bull because of the Qunari thing. I'm not killing off any of the advisors because that's stupid. I need them. If I'm gonna be honest, I would probably have to say Vivienne. Now, I like Vivienne as a character, and I'm not going to talk too much about her because I do intend to do a full video on her next week, but I feel as if, though, she's the character I could not connect to least. At least in my first few playthroughs. It wasn't until like my third or fourth playthrough in which I got a scene I'd never seen before. I got a scene I'd never seen before, which actually revealed a lot about her character. And I really like that about it. But as I say, if I had to kill off one of them, it probably would have to be Vivienne. I do like her, but I feel as if though she's the character I couldn't connect to least, and honestly, I feel less bad if I killed her off, even though she does have quite an interesting story, which I will discuss in a later video. But she's probably the one out of all the DAI party members, she's probably the one I'd kill off if I had to choose, because the other ones I connect to a lot more, and I actually like their characters a little bit more than the others. So yeah, I do apologise for any Vivienne fans out there. The voice actors are fine, she was well voice acted, but it's just the rest of the characters, I connect to them more for various reasons, as I say, and I just feel they are a bit more complex than Vivienne in some instances, even though Vivienne herself is actually quite complex. And I'm going to stop there before I go into too much detail because I want to save some of this stuff for the video, but it probably would be Vivienne, I'm sorry, and I do apologise for that. That's the last Patreon question. I only got one Patreon question from my Patreons. So yeah, I thank you, Paragate, for your question. And now we'll move on to YouTube questions. This is basically the bulk of them. Now I'm going to go through these. I'm going to go through all the questions that you have submitted. I'm going to say your username and then go through the same thing I do every other time. So, without further ado, let's go with the first set of questions from Shemik2. First question from Shemik is: do you think that Crichton I think he means certain YouTubers here. Do you think certain YouTubers like PewDiePie have a negative effect on how outsiders view gaming, though through their let's players' choice of games and other things? In all honesty, there are certain people out there who I feel don't really add anything to the YouTube gaming scene. Now, I'm not going to say PewDiePie is a bad thing on gaming. I'm not, because if you like PewDiePie, you like him. I'm not going to say anything bad about him. I personally don't like his content. I don't know him personally. As it is, I've said some stuff in the past that I kind of regret, but overall, there are some people who I feel have a bit of a negative impact on the medium, but not a large enough negative impact. Like you've said, PewDiePie out there has how outsiders view it. PewDiePie, I don't consider PewDiePie a YouTube gamer, a Let's Player. I don't consider PewDiePie a Let's Player or a game critiquer. I view him as an entertainer. That's it. He makes stupid videos. He screams at the top of his voice. For me personally, he comes across as very fake with his reactions. I feel as though he overreacts, in all honesty, with a lot of his stuff. me personally, as I don't know him, I'm only judging from the stuff I've watched, which is only a handful of videos, and I did not like them at all. I feel as though he is more of an entertainer, so that's how I justify he is in there. I do get a bit offended sometimes when people say, oh, Let's Player, like PewDiePie. PewDiePie to me is not a Let's Player. I don't consider him that. I consider him an entertainer on YouTube who uses gaming to entertain people with overreacting, in my opinion. That says if you like PewDiePie, that is your prerogative. I don't like his content. I don't like that some people do view gaming Let's Plays as that kind of thing. That's not what it really is. It's just, if you'd seen my Let's Plays, which is I only do a handful of Let's Plays occasionally, as is due to, well, time restraints, unfortunately. In fact, I don't live alone. But when you watch one of my Let's Plays, it's completely different from PewDiePie's style. My Let's Play is more narrative, as is I will only comment on things I feel as. I do say stupid stuff, I do throw in stupid jokes, because that's the type of person I am when I'm a gamer. Even when I'm playing a game myself, I react that kind of way. I do talk to myself while I play games sometimes. So my style of Let's Play is how I do it. That's always I've done it. PewDiePie's an entertainer, that's the way I feel. There are some things that some people might view him as negative, but that's not how I see it. I don't see him as the negative on gaming. I view the people who say that he is a part of gaming, that he is a YouTube Let's Player or game entertainer that way. I view them as taking as not understanding the style of content he is. I don't blame him. There are others who have negative impacts, and I'm not going to name names here, so I do apologise as if any are PewDiePie fans. I don't find him entertaining at all, but I don't judge him as a person. He's a smart motherfucker. He found a way to make a living off YouTube better than anyone else ever. There's a reason he's the most popular YouTuber out there. There is a reason. I don't like that reason, but there's a reason. And I'm going to move on to your next question, Shemit, because I don't want to spend too long on this topic. Do you think DC should focus more on TV stuff rather than movies? For those who are unaware, DC, as it says, a lot of people are bashing the hell out of the DC live-action movies, in all honesty. I do apologise, my glasses are being a little funny today. They've actually got a lot of muck on them. I need to clean them quickly. But I'm going to talk while I say this. DC movies, I haven't enjoyed a DC movie since The Dark Knight, probably. And even then, it wasn't because of Batman, it was because of the Joker. Like, I don't care what anyone says, The Dark Knight is the best Joker film ever, in my opinion. But DC movies, there hasn't been one I've enjoyed that I can say I absolutely loved that immensely. It was the greatest of them all. Marvel do that. Marvel movies, in my opinion, are the best comic book superhero movies out there. I'm sorry, DC are getting their asses handed to them with that fact. And that's the main reason I think this is. I've stated this in the past, but I will state it again here, is the fact that DC take the let's make our heroes serious approach, while Marvel are just like, let's have fun approach. That's the way I view DC and Marvel movies at the moment. As DC is the serious movies, which I don't like when it comes to superheroes. Marvel's the we just want to make sure you have a good time type of movies. Here's the way I see it. DC want their superhero movies to win awards. Marvel want their movies to be fun. There we go. That's how you can sum it up in a nutshell. And I don't like the DC movies. Even Man of Steel, I only like that film as an action film. I do not like it as a Superman film. In my opinion, it is actually probably the worst Superman film ever. There are some people who it's one of the few superhero films that I feel actually hurt me the most. I've already said, I think I've said this in the past, as it says, there's only been one film in my entire life that has made me physically ill and actually feel physical pain when I watched it. That's The Last Airbender, which we don't talk about. But Man of Steel didn't give me that kind of impact, but it did make me sick to my stomach. I was like, no, I don't like this. I don't like this. While Marvel films keep me entertained. Now, that being said, I actually like some of the DC live-action TV shows. Arrow, Flash, and Constantine. And there's Teen Titans and Supergirl in the works. But let's talk about these three. Now, I loved Constantine. Constantine, if you've not watched it, go watch it now. It is fan-freaking-tastic. You can get it on Amazon. If you're in the UK, you'll have to go through Amazon Prime, I'm afraid. It never aired in the UK, which I think is absolutely bullshit. Because it's a fucking it's a UK superhero, basically. He's fucking Liverpoolian. But I absolutely love the show. Matt Ryan is Constantine. So if you haven't checked out Constantine, I would highly recommend it. Arrow and Flash are the two that I probably enjoy the most, though. And honestly, I do love Constantine, though. Arrow kind of tried to be like a Batman origin story, only not having Batman at the start. It started being very serious, but then eventually the writers just, I don't know what happened, if they just flipped a switch in their head and all of a sudden they says, why don't we be comic booky? And the show has progressively gotten more comic booky. They're kind of embracing the comic book vibe that the DC movies aren't. And that's where we get The Flash now, which I absolutely love The Flash. The Flash is the best superhero TV show on at the moment, just for the fact that it embraces the fact that it's a superhero show. Arrow embraces that fact a little bit more, but it took them about 2 seasons to get that. It is definitely becoming more comic booky, but Flash, right off the bat, bam, comic booky. We've got supervillains, we've got meta-humans. We have actual meta-humans, and I absolutely love that. I really am liking the DC live-action TV shows way more than the movies. Now, that being said, I still want good DC live-action movies. I still want that perfect Superman movie, which still to this day I don't think we've actually had. Even Superman, the one with Christopher Reeves, is not perfect, but it is the closest we've ever gotten to being. In fact, it's the most perfect Superman film we've got, but I want a proper one. Same with Batman. I want a proper Batman film. As is, I will not judge Batman vs Superman, Dawn of Justice, Planet of the Apes, Supercalifragilistic, up your arse motherfucking tit fucks, until I either see it or I hear from people's opinions I trust. I still have no intention of seeing that film in the theaters. I still have a little bit. There's still that little bit of hope in my heart that this DC live action movies will actually succeed because of the recent thing that came out, which was Jason Momoa as Aquaman. I'm sorry, he looks freaking amazing. I'm like, holy shit! That's the kind of Aquaman that if you go Aquaman, he just talks to fishes. He'd rip your fucking head off and toss you into the ocean and say, "Yeah, I talk to fishes, and now you're fish food." Sorry, that was a cheesy line. I do apologise for that. But yeah, I kind of see where a lot of people come from. That I think DC maybe should concentrate more on their TV thing because it is better than the movies, in my opinion. But I actually think DC need to go back to square one and basically start from scratch and reboot the whole cinematic universe without starting it with Batman or Superman. We have what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What? 4, 5, 6, 7 Batman movies, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 freaking Superman movies. We don't need them anymore. We don't need more origin story when it comes to those two. I'm sorry, we don't. Start it with Wonder Woman. Start it with Green Lantern, with Flash, with anyone but those two. And don't do their origins over again. We already know their origins. So yeah, I kind of just hope that DC just reboot the whole movie franchise in all opinion, because everything I'm hearing about Batman vs Superman, Dawn of Justice, Ghostbusting son of a bitch, motherfucker, tit fucks, I don't like. I don't like anything except for Jason Momoa as Aquaman. He looks amazing. And that's the kind of Aquaman you don't fuck with. So I hope that answers your question, Shemek. We'll move on to your last question, which is, will Marvel do Spidey's origin on Daredevil? Marvel have come out and stated that they're not doing origin movies anymore. Like, we aren't going to have superhero origin movies anymore, unless it probably desperately needs it. Like, I think we probably will have an origin movie-ish kind of thing with Captain Marvel, but I think they'll probably introduce her maybe at a later date, in all honesty. Maybe in Guardians of the Galaxy or in one of the TV shows they have planned. I don't know if they'll do Spider-Man's origin on Daredevil, because Daredevil Season 1 is pretty much done. It airs completely in April, I think. I'm not 100% certain. So I don't think they'll do Spider-Man's origin in there. I think more than likely we'll either see it as a short on Netflix or maybe in one of the TV series. Maybe Daredevil, but I think more than likely we won't actually see his origins. He'll just show up in some way, shape or form, probably in Civil War in all honesty. So I don't know if that's just I feel about that. I just think they'll probably just introduce him and then he'll tell us his origin or something along those lines. I don't know. I don't think they'll do it in Daredevil because it's too late. So yeah, thank you, Shemek, for all your questions. I hope I answered them to the best of my ability. And if I did miss any of your questions out, I've already explained why. So next set of questions comes from Zeverin08. And his first question is, would you rather have a drink... Who would you rather have for a drinking buddy? Isabella, Iron Bull, or Ogryn? Varric is excluded because that is obvious. That is the obvious answer. True. Okay, let's see. That's a tough one. For those that don't know, actually, I don't drink. I actually don't drink alcohol. I don't. It's just something that never appealed to me. So, if you're talking drinking, they'd be drinking booze. I'd be drinking, like, water, or... If we're in the Dragon Age universe, it would probably just be water or flavoured water. But for a drinking buddy... Let's see. Isabella, I think I'd get along with Isabella pretty well, in all honesty. I don't think I'd actually want to give her... I don't think I'd want to actually sleep with her, in all honesty, because... I don't know, like, I don't know, it's difficult to say. I don't know what I'd do in the heat of the moment. Even then, I don't think I'd actually would sleep with Isabella. That's beside the point. But she does seem like someone who I would genuinely get along with and have a good laugh with, because her personality is very similar, has some similarities to my own, I think. And that is that we both we both are like, you call me whatever the fuck you want, I don't care. Like, she gets called a whore, a slapper, and many other dirty things, and she doesn't give two shits. Because she's like, yeah, I sleep around. And... Well, I don't sleep around, but I've been called many things in my life, and I give two shits what people call me. Someone calls me an arsehole, I go, yeah, I'm being a bit of an arsehole. Someone calls me a cunt, if that's your opinion. That's where I think me and Isabella would get along. I definitely feel as though we would get along. Same with Iron Bull, actually. I think I'd probably get along okay with Iron Bull. I disagree with him on a few things, but I think it'd be a good laugh to hang about with. Ogryn... I'm going to be honest, Ogryn, while I love his character, I don't think I'd enjoy being around him when he's drunk. So I think Ogryn's probably the one I wouldn't want to be around with, in all honesty, just because I don't like being around people I know drunk, personally. So I don't know about Ogryn. I think, plus I think we'd probably end up fighting, because I do actually disagree with quite a bit about Ogryn, even though I do like him. If I had to pick one, I think probably would have to be Isabella, in all honesty. While I like Iron Bull and Ogryn, I think she's the one who I would actually enjoy hanging about with the most. I would have a blast with her, we'd be really good. I think we'd probably be really good friends. I don't think she'd let me steer her mast, or I don't think she'd let me do anything to her, but I don't even think I would. I would just be good friends with Isabella, probably, in all honesty. I do like her character, I like her personality. And she's also good in the eyes, by the way. But I think Isabella would be a good laugh to hang about with, in all honesty. So, yeah, probably would be Isabella. Iron Bull a close second. So, yeah, I'll leave it at that. Next question from Zeverin is, if you were in a zombie apocalypse in the Mass Effect or Dragon Age universe, who would you have on your team for survivors? 5 to 6 people are the limit for both the Dragon Age and Mass Effect universe. Pets do not count. As a person, you can add the dog from Dragon Age Origins and the robot from Mass Effect 2 if you wish. The robot, I'm thinking you mean EDI. EDI's a person. EDI's a person. Okay, we'll start with the Dragon Age universe. Zombie apocalypse in the Dragon Age universe is basically Darkspawn. So, who would I want? I probably would have to have at least one Grey Warden. So I'd probably have to go... While I would want Duncan, I'd probably go with Alistair. Just because he is the comic relief. We need someone who can cheer people up, have a good laugh with you and all that, and have a bit of fun with you, and keep morale up. And I think also he is a good leader. So Alistair's one for that. I think probably we'd need a good fighter. And I think probably one of the best fighters in all the Dragon Age universe is probably Iron Bull. So I'd probably have to bring him along. Same thing, he'd also be a good laugh as well. But I think also he is a really good fighter. We need someone for medical. So we need a healer in some way. So I'd probably go with Wynne. Just because of how experienced she is and all the knowledge she has when it comes to healing and all that. I think Wynn would be a vital asset, and then she's also a very caring and motherly figure, and we definitely need that in a survival thing. I can't say Varric. I want to say Varric, but we've already got Alistair. And I think Alistair kind of suits the role that Varric probably would serve, storyteller and all that, so I can't say Alistair. I think Isabella as well, because she's stealthy, sneaky, and she knows how to travel. She knows how to get to areas. I think she'd be very good and influential, and also getting supplies. I think she'd be a vital part to the survival plan. So I can get 2 more people. I'm trying to think. I really am trying to think here. I think I'd probably have to go with Cassandra, because Cassandra or Cullen. Cassandra or Cullen. I think Cassandra or Cullen, in all honesty. I'd have to pick between those 2 right now, because we need someone who can be a good leader of, who can organize an army or keep us organized, set goals, be a not a leader but like a general, like the second hand. So it'd probably have to be Cassandra or Cullen. I think I would probably have to go with Cullen. He is a good no Cullen. Cassandra, I'll go with Cassandra. I think she's tough, brute, and also has a soft heart. We also need one last person. Someone, who could it be? I'm trying to think of honesty. Shale. We have to have Shale because she can't be infected, and she would be the tank. There's my 6 party members for the zombie apocalypse in the Dragon Age universe. We'd be dead in a month. Okay, Mass Effect universe. Edie is a person, so I have to choose between 5 people. It's 5 or 6 people. Let's see. By the way, I'm excluding protagonists, by the way, so I can't choose Shepard, and that's why I didn't pick the Warden. It's characters, not protagonists. Okay. I'm trying to think. We need Anderson. He's a great leader, very determined, and loyal. Definitely Anderson. We can't have any Quarians, I'm afraid, because if it's a zombie apocalypse, while I feel the Quarians, I think the Quarians would be very susceptible to a zombie apocalypse just because of the fact that they don't have an immune system, and one bite can kill them quicker, I think. So I can't choose Talia. I couldn't have Talia. She'd be dead, unfortunately, I think. Even though she is a tough-ass bitch. One bite or one scratch is all it takes to... Well, it depends on the zombie apocalypse. We'll go Walking Dead zombies, which takes a bite, so we'll just bite. And I don't know, like, the Quarian suits, it's just... With their immune systems and all that, I just don't think they'd be too viable. I think I'd have to bring Samara. Just because of her experience. She's nearly 1,000 years... She's probably nearly 1,000 years old, in all honesty. And I think she would bring something to the team as a guiding light and an understanding. She's also an incredibly powerful biotic, so that would come in really handy. So I'd probably have to pick Samara. I wouldn't pick Jack because while I love Jack, she's too unpredictable in that instance, and she doesn't follow orders too well until Mass Effect 3, but Mass Effect 3 didn't happen. So definitely Samara. Who else? Let's see. Now, I've already got a leader. I was going to say Garrus there, but I've already got a leader in Anderson. While I love Garrus, I think Anderson is a better leader. We need a medic. So Mordin Solus is definitely that. Even though he's a Solarian, we need Mordin. He is essential, and plus he'd probably find it absolutely fascinating. So definitely Mordin Solus. Plus I want him to sing, and he's alive. Edie I think Edie's a must. Because she could be she's the tactician of the group, in my opinion. She'd be able to analyse the situation. Also, she couldn't become infected. So definitely Edie on her mobile unit shift, completely in there. Definitely would have to have Edie there because she's smart, intellectual, and I was going to say a bit of eye candy, but I don't really get robots thing. But yeah, I definitely think Edie would probably be very vital. So 2 more. Rex, because muscle. Flat out, we need muscle. And Krogans, hell yeah! We need Rex. And the last and final member... was gonna say Miranda there, but she's too. She's very arrogant. I don't know if her and Anderson would get on well enough. We need one more, and I think it's gonna have to be. I don't know. It's a tough one. Like, I've got two people in mind. I've got Shiala, because I really wanted to see where her character was going to develop. I really, really did. But also, I get the sense that she is actually a good organizer of people. I think she'd be very good at organizing people, in all honesty, because of what she does in Feros, in all honesty. But we need someone. We need a humorous person, and I would say Jeff, but he'd be dead too quickly. In all honesty, as a zombie apocalypse, it wouldn't be on the Normandy, so I can't choose Joker. We need someone who would keep morale up. I think probably. I can't remember who else I picked. I think probably we'd still have. I think Edie'd be a good laugh. Samara maybe. Morden would be hilarious. Rex as well though. You know what? I'm actually gonna go Miranda. I think Miranda with her genetic enhancements. No, Miranda. Fuck, this is hard. I'm also trying to think of someone right now. Let's see. No, that won't work. No. Ariel's too power hungry and mad. This is a tough one. This is a real fucking tough one. We already have a soldier and Rex. Fuck, this is tough. You know what? Screw it. We'll go Jack. Jack just because Jack. We need a Jack in our team. There, Jack. That's a fucking tough one. That is really, really, really tough. So I'm just taking the time here. I don't want to go over maybe 45 minutes. So once we get to the 45-minute mark, I am going to split the part. Oh, fuck. So that's my team. That was a tough one. Good question there. Okay, last question from Zevran, which is... Have you ever heard of the superhero lady known as Zatanna? If so, what is your opinion of her? I have heard of Zatanna. If anyone's watched the Justice League animated series, you've heard of Zatanna. Or you've played Injustice, or you've watched Batman the animated series. I like Zatanna. I really, really like Zatanna. She's, for those who are unfamiliar, she's one of the magic users in the DC universe. Now, it depends on the one you view, as I say. I don't know too much about the new 52 Zatanna, but the one I like is she's actually a magician. Like, that's her profession as well as her powers. She uses her magic as a stage performer. I think Zatanna would be very interesting. I liked the Young Justice Zatanna. We didn't get that long with her, I'm afraid, unfortunately. We only got a couple episodes in the end of Season 1. And then we only saw once or twice in Season 2. I'm sure we would have saw more of her if they'd got a third season. But I like Zatanna. I actually do. I think she's a very interesting character. And also would be an interesting one to see how they'd adapt her into the DC cinematic universe. I would like to see her in that one. But I don't know, as I say, I don't know how they'd incorporate that into there. I'd say they've already incorporated Constantine, which I really hope Constantine gets a second season, because they could introduce Zatanna in there, and I think that would be an absolute gem to do, because I do know Zatanna and Constantine do have a bit of a thing. I would love to see her in the Constantine TV show, but we'll have to wait and see in that one. Now, how long do we have? Could we maybe get 3 questions done? You know what? I'll actually split the part here. So hopefully I answered the questions to the best of my ability. And now we'll move on, and I will see you all in part 2.